At Academic City, we are not just students. We are problem solvers, innovators, and future-ready leaders. We power the future and create groundbreaking technologies ready to tackle real-world challenges head-on. In a world driven by technology, we shape the digital landscape, transforming challenges into opportunities. At the core of strategic thinking and decision-making, we thrive in the dynamic realm of commerce. We evolve into leaders who not only speak, but stand for what's right, forging narratives and stirring the conscience of the world. Embark on a journey with us, where innovation meets education. Academic City, educating future-ready leaders. At Academic City, we are not just students. We are problem solvers, innovators, and future-ready leaders. We power the future and create groundbreaking technologies ready to tackle real-world challenges head-on. In a world driven by technology, we shape the digital landscape, transforming challenges into opportunities. At the core of strategic thinking and decision-making, we thrive in the dynamic realm of commerce. We evolve into leaders who not only speak, but stand for what's right, forging narratives and stirring the conscience of the world. Embark on a journey with us, where innovation meets education. Academic City, educating future-ready leaders. At Academic City, we are not just students. We are problem solvers, innovators, and future-ready leaders. We power the future and create groundbreaking technologies ready to tackle real-world challenges head-on. In a world driven by technology, we shape the digital landscape, transforming challenges into opportunities. At the core of strategic thinking and decision-making, we thrive in the dynamic realm of commerce. We evolve into leaders who not only speak, but stand for what's right, forging narratives and stirring the conscience of the world. Embark on a journey with us, where innovation meets education. Academic City, educating future-ready leaders. At Academic City, we are not just students. We are problem solvers, innovators, and future-ready leaders. We power the future and create groundbreaking technologies ready to tackle real-world challenges head-on. In a world driven by technology, we shape the digital landscape, transforming challenges into opportunities. At the core of strategic thinking and decision-making, we thrive in the dynamic realm of commerce. We evolve into leaders who not only speak, but stand for what's right, forging narratives and stirring the conscience of the world. Embark on a journey with us, where innovation meets education. Academic City, educating future-ready leaders. At Academic City, we are not just students. We are problem solvers, innovators, and future-ready leaders. We power the future and create groundbreaking technologies ready to tackle real-world challenges head-on. In a world driven by technology, we shape the digital landscape, transforming challenges into opportunities. At the core of strategic thinking and decision-making, we thrive in the dynamic realm of commerce. We evolve into leaders who not only speak, but stand for what's right, forging narratives and stirring the conscience of the world. Embark on a journey with us, where innovation meets education. Academic City, educating future-ready leaders.
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.
Go in the heart of Accra, a great institution was born. An institution set to educate and prepare leaders for the future. This institution is Academic City University College. It's been 6 years of amazing growth and achievements. For an institution so young, it is commendable what it's been able to achieve over the short time frame.
We arrived here with 45 students and a skeleton staff. 45 students, anxious students with their parents, wondering whether this experiment called Academic City is trying a hand at. The only noises here then were construction workers and churches. There were no toilet facilities, the rooms were hardly ready, with very limited faculty. We took up this challenge of building a unique institution that will serve the next generation of Africans. Academic City is an embodiment of a vision of one man who worked and thrived on this continent for over 30 years. And what a better way to give back than to establish an institution that will continuously churn out the next generation of Africans.
Academic City has been able to chalk some important milestones within this year. We matriculated our class of 2027 in January. We had our second graduation ceremony for our class of 2023. This was topped off with our ACity at 5 celebration since we turned 5 years. And after this, the Times Higher Education ranked us 15th best university in Sub-Saharan Africa and second in Ghana. It goes without saying that all these achievements will not have been possible without your support. As a result, we want to take this opportunity to say thank you for everything that you do for Academic City.
As we look forward to 2024 with renewed hope, with enthusiasm, with the same strength and courage that has made Academic City not only a household name in the sub-region, but also around the world. We're looking forward to achieving charter so that we can have the independence of launching the next generation programs that will lead to employability and that will continue to enhance our national and international standing as an institution of choice. As we look forward to new programs in data science and cybersecurity, we are also quite cognizant of the fact that technology is evolving so fast and so closely that we need to be at the cusp of it. We are looking forward to academic city students graduating into the public sector, into graduate school, and continue to push the limits of technology development and advancement for our country. As your president, as always, it's been a privilege to run an institution that in its 6th year is making...
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders. From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.
Today we are here to look for talents. And you may ask, what are we looking out for? I know there are students and they don't have all the qualities or skills that we might be looking out for. But what we look out for is someone who is open-minded, a student who is eager, willing, passionate to learn, explore.
It's not my first time in a career fair, but my first time in ACity University. I had high hopes because we have some of your students currently with us, and formation reaching me, they are also going very well. So I was expecting a lot of students, and we could see that the information from them, the sort of questions they're asking, very, very good questions.
It's been an awesome experience. They showed up in their numbers and then they came with more confidence as the day went on. We got the opportunity to speak to a number of students across various year groups. So I can say that we have a number of CVs which we took. We're looking forward to working with them.
The most impressive candidate I've seen today was a master's student from ACity. She was doing a master's in data analytics, and she's built models on cost management, on income prediction, and it was very innovative to see how she was applying what she was learning in school. And because we're also looking at advancing our company and looking at how these models can play an important role in industry, it was interesting to see that ACity has slots like that for students to grow and then explore their passion. So that's the most interesting person I came across today.
I think last year we had a couple of them coming into Felisol, Ghana. One person I can pinpoint who stood out for me is Christian. I think Christian had to be with us for a while, I think 2 months, for which we had to even ask him to stay on for another month. And 3 things stood out for me with Christian: someone who knows what he really wants in the business. And he's someone who was very committed to the task that is being assigned to him. Not just that, but also he had a hunger to do more stuff in the business. So that stood out for me when it comes to Christian. And I see that more with the ACity students who happen to be with us, very committed to the task they were doing and very apt to it.
The fair has been engaging and exciting. A key takeaway from this career is that networking is good and making more connections will build a bigger future for you.
My experience at the career fair was very engaging. It was quite fun. So going to the career workshops this semester has really helped. We talked about elevator pitch, how you can communicate and market yourself to these companies. You just have to be yourself. You don't really have to be over sophisticated. Just be yourself. Talk to them about your strengths and weaknesses.
So the job experience I've had at Recom Tech has helped me understand that there's always something to learn on the job, because working with the marketing team, the HR team, whilst also providing customer service solutions to other businesses. And so I've understood that even with my career plans, whether I am retained or I find maybe another experience in another company, I know that I'll be able to fulfill any related task.
Definitely, when we are invited, we will still come. We will still expect more students to come, ask more questions, and also practicality. We want them to also be part of the internship program that we are also organizing.
I think ACity is doing a fabulous job. You know, you're raising like super students, and as I mentioned earlier, we look forward to working with you to include the students into our team.
All right, so I assume you understood me, right? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Kindly have your seats. So this afternoon, we are very delighted. We are glad to have in our midst our guest lecturer who really doesn't need an introduction because we all know him. Of course, but for the purposes of the international students among us, our today's guest lecturer is the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations. He holds a master's degree, an MSc in Strategy and Diplomacy from the London School of Economics. He holds another master's degree, and of course, for those of you who are interested in universities in Ghana, he completed the KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and he likes to call himself a proud alumnus of that university. I wouldn't take so much of our time because time is already fast spent. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome our guest lecturer for today, the Honorable Sam George.
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Great. It's a pleasure to be here at ACity to share my thoughts with you on a theme that I think resonates very much with me, and I see right here that the ACity University says you are educating future-ready leaders, and that for me is critical because you're leaders. So I'm going to be speaking to you for about 20 minutes. I'm not doing slides. I have a speech I'll share with you as well, but you pick up nuggets from it, and then we'll have an interactive session where I'll speak freely to any questions that you want to ask. But it's a good afternoon today in Accra, and I'm happy. I take cognizance that we have distinguished faculty, leaders, guests, but above all, the bright young minds of ACity University. I'm always deeply delighted whenever I have the opportunity to engage young people. This is because moments like this remind me that the future is not so far away. That future is seated right here in this hall, and I have the privilege of speaking with the bright minds that will shape not only that future, but our today. As students of ACity, you are uniquely positioned at the crossroads of purpose and possibilities. Before me, I see the next generation of problem solvers, innovators, and builders, young visionaries who will challenge the status quo, reimagine what is possible, and carry forward the values that will define the Ghana and Africa we all hope to see. When I received the invitation to speak on the theme ethics, leadership, and responsibility, I paused for a moment, not out of hesitation, but out of reflection. These are not mere words, ethics, responsibility, and leadership. These are the moral heartbeat of every nation. They form what we will call the foundation on which Ghana and Africa will either rise or fall. It is therefore a truly uplifting sign to witness the future of Ghana, and indeed, because we have international students here of the continent already in rehearsal, and it is beginning right here in ACity University with each of you. It's rather unfortunate that today we live in a world and an era where truth most often competes with noise, where the loudest voices drown out the most honest voice, and where misinformation can reach 1 million people becoming? And what kind of Africa are we shaping with the choices that we make? Leadership today is too often known as a title and rarely carried as a burden of responsibility. Leadership is actually a test of character. Yet authentic leadership demands character and not convenience. It is not about being followed, but about being worth being followed. It's not about commanding attention, it's about earning trust. Authentic leadership asks for courage in silence, integrity in chaos, and service without applause.
Responsibility, on the other hand, is the bridge between what we believe and how we act. It is the quiet companion of leadership. Responsibility is the voice that reminds us that every decision we make affects lives beyond our own. It calls on us to be accountable, not just for our choices, but for their ripple effects on our themes, or our teams, our communities, and the generations that are yet unborn. Hence, the choices you make now will not shape only your own.
At the heart of all of this, leadership and responsibility, lies the enduring principle of ethics. Ethics is not an academic concept or an abstract theory that is going to be debated in lecture theaters or in seminars like this. It's a daily battle between what is easy and what is right. The strength of Ghana, and indeed the destiny of Africa, will rise or fall of ethics. Ethical leaders do not bend to pressure, nor act out of convenience. They do not trade their integrity for popularity.
It is what steadies the hands in moments of uncertainty and guides the decisions
that leaders make when no one is watching.
As the African proverb reminds us, you cannot climb a tree from the top. Leadership must be built from the roots, and the roots herein is ethics. Because when the roots are strong, the winds of corruption, the winds of fear, or the winds of greed cannot uproot a leader's purpose. We often remind ourselves of the timeless wisdom of our forebears. And one person I deeply celebrate and respect and study constantly is our founding president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. When he once declared that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked to the total liberation of Africa. In the same way, today I will surmise that leadership that we practice is meaningless unless it is anchored in ethical purpose and principle and a deep sense of responsibility to uplift not only ourselves, but our people, our continent, and generations yet unborn. Too often, Africa's story has been overshadowed by corruption, by weak accountability and leadership that prioritizes self-interest over the common good. However, that is not our destiny. With unshakable conviction that Africa's future can be different, and that future rests in our hands, your hands, as the next leaders of our country and our continent. We are called to be the generation that redefines leadership on this continent. A leadership that is people-centered, a leadership that is ethical, a leadership that is transparent, and a leadership that is responsible. A leadership that does not stop at our borders but ripples outwards from the heart of Accra, shaping Africa's image globally, proving that integrity and progress are partners in a noble pursuit, not opposites. These to me, that I tell you here, are not just words. They are the real-life principles I leave today as Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations. They are the conflicts I am faced with in every decision I make on a daily basis. I'm faced with the decision of standing up to corporate greed and the avarice of supposedly powerful, politically connected business interests. These people who claim to be powerful businessmen with political interest have little regard for our collective national growth. Really, all that concerns them is not just ripping apart our public purse and stealing from it. These evil businessmen want to steal the national purse. But we will stop them because it doesn't belong to them. It is even more disturbing when this corrupt business interests conspire with political players who are simply mercenaries for hire. Politicians and leaders must have integrity and candor. We cannot be guns for hire for the highest bidder, whether you are a politician in the executive or in the legislature. I have decided to stand up to these elements with the clarity of mind and certainty of purpose, that despite the attacks they may wage and plan and scheme against me and the orchestrated press conferences, my ultimate fidelity is to my conscience and the people of this country. My leadership as minister must be marked by a deep sense of responsibility in the decisions that I make. Because remember, I have said to you, those decisions do not just affect today, but affect tomorrow's children and the generations yet unborn. Those decisions I make must be backed by an ethical conscience seared by the collective desire of the Ghanaian people. That is the only way we can redefine the Africa and build the Ghana that we all envisage. That is the only way we can talk about a reset agenda in this country. So be it multinational telecommunication giants or technology platforms, entertainment and media conglomerates, or Ghanaian business interests, know ye all this day in Academic City University that Sam George has only one motivation. That is what is to do right by God, by his conscience, and by the Ghanaian people. Until the day I am relieved of my service to the Ghanaian people, I pledge to stand up to responsible, ethical leadership. I pledge to stand up to the greed of unscrupulous and unprincipled business people and their political hirelings. No matter the number of orchestrated attacks or incoherent press conferences, they won't stop us. So whether they say there's been a reduction in price or an increase in value, we know we are serving the people of Ghana and will continue to serve the people of Ghana. One thing they have forgotten is that my totem is the ageless Edinkra symbol, she won she. And how many of you here know the Edinkra symbol, she won she? Gen Zs, you need to learn about your symbols. Because the she won she symbol is actually tree. Wushia won she. So you see that our elders had bars before you had bars. And that totem that I have adopted as mine is a symbol of imperishability. It is that which does not burn, that which fire cannot consume. And that is what shapes my style of leadership. And so I urge every one of you here today, future leaders, to make a conscious decision to live by an ethos that will not be swayed by anything, ensuring ethical and responsible leadership. if we are to build a nation that endures, institutions that serve the people, and a future that inspires the next generation, then we must raise leaders who understand that ethics is not an option. It's not optional. It's mandatory. It is a necessity for everyone who seeks leadership. Even more so in this digital age, where information travels faster than reflection, and where the lines between truth and falsehood blur by the second. Today, misinformation and disinformation can ignite violence faster than truth can calm it. People will believe a lie faster and easier than they will believe the truth. A single manipulated image, thanks to the power of AI, can destroy reputations, it can divide communities, and can shake the very foundations of our democracy. As such, the ethical compass of a leader is not just essential, but indispensable. This is why I am truly honored to be part of this flagship leadership seminar series. In this space that we find ourselves, leadership is not only discussed, but reimagined, where we are challenged to think critically about what it means to lead ethically, and are equipped not just for the roles we will hold, but for the values we must uphold. I learned early on in my leadership journey that ethical dilemmas rarely announce themselves because they do not come wearing horns. They come dressed in opportunity. These ethical dilemmas come to you very politely, persuasively, and in very promising sugar-coated manner. That is the quiet danger of compromise. And as Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, I oversee multiple agencies alongside my responsibilities also as the Member of Parliament for the good and bad people of Ningo Pram Pram. Most times MP says, I'm the MP for the good people of. You also have bad people, but you are the MP for all. As the MP for the people of Ningo Pram Pram, I have come to appreciate that ethics, leadership and responsibility are not abstract ideals. They are daily tests that you must make a decision on. Every policy that we draft at the ministry, every digital infrastructure that we build, every national data system that is designed, every single partnership that I sign carries moral weight. That's because technology, while powerful, must remain neutral. It reflects the value of those who wield it. Technology in the wrong hands or under the wrong motives can divide as easily as it meant to connect. It can empower or exploit. It can enlighten or mislead. That said, leadership in the digital age and space demands more than technical expertise. It requires ethical responsibility. I'm deeply aware that my decisions will affect millions. When I made the decision on data prices, it affected millions of Ghanaian students who use data for their research. Students relying on online platforms like you, entrepreneurs who are transacting digitally, and farmers who are connecting to markets, and citizens accessing government services through digital portals are all affected by the decisions I make at that ministry. This is a sacred trust, and it demands not just competence, but ethics, leadership, and responsibility. It is a covenant between who we are and those who place their trust in us. Hence, at the ministry, we are intentional about embedding ethics and responsibility into all of our national digital agendas. Through the Digital Ghana Vision 2030, we're transforming public service delivery with transparency and accountability at its core, ensuring that every citizen has equal access to efficient and honest governance. Nonetheless, leadership, as I have come to learn, is not ownership. There's nobody who remains in leadership forever. It's a privilege. Leadership is stewardship. And above all, leadership is trust. Trust, once earned, must be protected and honored.
such, every office we hold, every position we occupy is borrowed from the people, and it must be returned better than we found it. History has shown us that nations rise on and fall on the strength. Ghana's own story is filled with leaders, past and present, whose ethical conviction and sense of responsibility has shaped the course of our national development. Yet the future of ethical leadership in Ghana and across Africa will not only be written in government offices by renowned individuals alone. Written in lecture halls like this very one, in startups by young innovators, in laboratories by young scientists, and in communities and in the digital spaces where young minds will dare to act with integrity. Leadership belongs to anyone who will stand for what is right, when it will be easier for you to stay silent. Each of you carries a sphere of influence. You've got friends who listen to your advice, and so you influence someone, no matter how small you think you are. In your hands, a single innovation, a single message, or even a single post on X or Snap or Instagram or a video on TikTok can shape perceptions, it can shift narratives, it can spark transformations. Therefore, I challenge you today, as the next generation of leaders and from a leading academic institution on the African continent, when you finally graduate from ACity University and step into the world, you will be offered choices. Some of those choices will be tempting. Some of them will be terrifying. But in those moments, I urge you to choose ethics. Even when no one claps for you, choose ethics. Choose leadership even when it costs you. Choose responsibility even when it feels heavy. Because when you do, remember that you're not just building a career, you're creating Ghana's moral architecture. And long after the titles will fade, what will remain is your name and the truth it stood for. There is no better wealth and legacy than a name. The titles would always go. When I'm no longer minister, when I'm no longer member of parliament, the title honorable will no longer be mine. What will always remain with me till the day I die is the name Sam George. So titles fade. Your name never fades. In conclusion, an African giant, Tony Elumelu, once said, "A true leader is one who remains committed to a higher purpose that most others do not see yet, because that purpose is driven by legacy." And I could not agree more with him. So as you leave this seminar and we have a conversation, when you return to your studies, your projects, and your ambitions, carry this with you. Ethics is your compass. Responsibility is your anchor. And leadership is the journey that will test both ethics and responsibility. Walk that journey with courage, with humility, and with vision. For in doing so, you'll not only change your life, you will help shape the destiny of our nation and the soul of our continent. I hope in all of my rambling, you've picked some nuggets. Thank you very much. God bless you and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This was powerful. Even when no one is watching, choose ethics. So we'll take some questions like he did indicate. It's an interactive session. And as we do it every week, if you have a question, you raise your hand. Maybe I'll take the first set of questions, and then I'll allow the Honorable Minister to answer, then we'll go on to the next set. So if you have a question, just raise your hand. So I'll start from there. 1, 2, 3. How many should I take? 4. Okay.
You can take 4.
4 at a time. Okay, so 1, 2, there's 3, 4 for the first set. All right. So just mention your name. Come this way so they can go.
Honorable Minister, my name is Daniel Amusa. I'm an IT student. So we know that as a leader, or leadership comes with a lot of pressure, is associated with a lot of pressure. I want to know, how do you deal with this sort of pressure personally, and how does it influence your decision making? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, the next question.
Yes, my name is Desmond. I'm an electrical and electronics engineering student. So many young people are told to build their brand to be heard, but sometimes that leads to performative activism or leadership.
Sorry, speak up a bit so I can hear you.
Yes, so many young people are told to build their brand and to be heard, but that sometimes leads to performative activism or leadership. So how can we balance visibility and authenticity?
How do we balance visibility and authenticity? Wow.
Good afternoon, Honorable Sam George. My name is Kwejo, and my question is...
So your name is?
Kwejo.
Kojo.
Yeah. So as a student building a reinforcement learning system under the domain of AI to help optimize farm-to-market logistics to reduce food wastage in Africa, there's a concern I have. A lot of software and innovations used in government are outsourced by foreign vendors, and that sits on the value or the innovations that Africans can bring. So how do you think your ministry would be able to help support Ghanaian innovation or Ghanaian talent so that we can get the visibility we deserve? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mame Ifya Owusu.
Sorry?
Mame Ifya.
Ifya.
Thank you. Honorable, you are usually known for being bold and outspoken. And so my question is, how are you able to balance firmness with humility as a leader? Firmness with humility. And secondly, as you rightfully mentioned, taking ethical dilemmas usually come on a regular basis for you as an honorable minister. And so my other question for you is that, do you have an extra thick skin to be able to resist the wear and tear of daily living? And is that probably the reason why the name Jatta, Honorable Sam Jatta George? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
Wow. Okay. Now, this first round of questioning leaves me very scared to open for more questions because the quality of questions, is outstanding. And I must commend you here at Academic City because, I've engaged quite a number of students, and sometimes the questions leave a lot to be desired, but this, wow, I have to bring my A game. Yeah. So Daniel, basically you asked how do I deal with the pressure of what I do and its effect on my decision making. Let's be clear, leadership is not for everyone. Okay? Let's be very clear. Not everyone is cut out or built to be a leader. Some people are built to be managers of other people's visions. And that's where they excel. But leaders are cut from the stock of resilience. And so to be a leader, you must be willing to be in a lifelong partnership with pressure. Because every decision you make, even when there is no necessary pressure of corruption or business interest, the decision you make
The pressure of knowing that that decision affects millions of people is enough pressure for you to deal with. So I'll give you the typical example. I took a decision to review all the legislation in the ministry. There's about, give or take, about 9 legislations that I met in the ministry. I'm redoing all of them at the same time, and I'm doing about 6 more. So in total, I'm doing 15 new legislation. Because when I went to the ministry, there was no legislation on emerging technologies, so AI, blockchain, and all of that, machine learning. So we're working on legislation for that. I go to bed knowing that the policy documents we're drafting at that ministry that I'm leading is going to shape the next 5 to 10 years or possibly 15 years of young tech innovators like Kojo, who's doing serious work from what I've heard. You know, he's working on building an AI model that will help farmers connect to markets. That's something that the ministry is very passionate about in agri-tech. You know, and so, but he's here in school doing this, and by the time he's finished and sets up a startup and tries to grow, that's over the next 5 to 10 years. The policies I'm shaping today, sitting in that ministry, when I took that decision that I was going to craft that legislation, I didn't know Kojo. The decision I am making, or I took, is going to affect him. If I craft a bad legislation, and I'll come to answer the question you talk about, that does not support local ingenuity and local innovators, he will be disadvantaged from the get-go, because if the policy embraces foreign innovation against local innovation, he starts from a disadvantaged place. And so I may not have known Kojo, but that's part of the weight and responsibility that I carry in my leadership journey. And so in shaping and crafting legislation, even though I might not know the very individuals who will be affected by that legislation, that pressure and that weight weighs on you. And that's where ethics comes in. Because, like I said in my speech, leadership is the journey. Responsibility is the anchor. So the anchor in a boat keeps the boat steady when you need to stand. Leadership is that journey. But where are you going? Ethics is the compass. So to know where to navigate, ethics is what is going to carry you through and say that in this journey, irrespective of the pressure, because, and I'm using the analogy of a boat at sea because the waves toss the boat left and right. Now, that wave that tosses the boat are all the various considerations of corruption and greed and all the various things you can think about. But when the captain has a compass that's working, he knows where his true north is. And the compass that's going to help the captain navigate that boat on that vast expanse of water called the sea and be able to find the shoreline is his compass. And so in the myriad of all the things that you face as a minister, all the pressures, and sometimes the pressures, like I said, are not just monetary. Sometimes you're just physically tired. You know, you're just physically tired. You've had 18 meetings in a day, and in meeting number 19, the questions that are being asked you, the decisions you are making are going to impact millions of people. And so it's having that clarity of mind and knowing where you're going and being guided by your ethical considerations. For me, that's really what backs my decisions. And again, because I'm using myself as a use case here, I'm the guinea pig in this lab. If you watch, when I take a position in this country on a policy matter, whether it is popular or unpopular, whether the country agrees with me or doesn't agree with me, once I am convinced that what I believe is true and is right. Again, in my speech, I said, ethical leadership does not care about applause. You can choose not to clap for me, but I will deliver what I have set out to deliver. And eventually, people will take cognizance of the work that you do. So I think that putting ethics at the heart of your leadership is a sure way for you to be able to deal with all the pressure. Because ethics is like the Holy Spirit. That small voice at the back of your head. I'm sure all of you have gone into the kitchen to pick an extra piece of meat one time or the other, or an extra cookie. And we all know, because I've done some too before, we all know that at the time you are going to do it, you hear it at the back of your head, say, Charlie, I do it, dear. You're chiwa. It's wrong, oh. But you too, Charlie, the thing be so. But that small voice at the back of your head that tells you that what you're doing is wrong is actually your compass. And I think that when you listen to your inner man more, it guides you. It guides you right once your head is in the right place. So, Daniel, I hope I've been able to answer your PhD question. I don't, when he read my profile, I don't have a PhD. I only did up to masters. So, thank you. Desmond asked a very important question. Balance, visibility, and authenticity. And I think I'll answer Mami Efia's question as well about, the second question about the name Jatta. So, in today's world, that's driven by technology and extremely fast pace. Identity is everything. Identity is everything. If you don't have identity, you're not known. Look, and I mean no disrespect, the 276 MPs, I bet you, more than half of them can walk into this room and you don't know them, you've never seen them before, you've never heard their names, you don't know who they are. But they're also MPs, in the same chamber that I sit in. Who said chamber pot? The same chamber that I sit in. But then, there are also MPs from that chamber who will walk into this room and you know who they are. Right? And I can mention a few names that you can easily associate with. So it's about identity. It's about brand identity. It's not just about being an MP. It's about building on that platform to build an identity. So identity is very key. But now the question is, how do you leverage or build a brand identity without compromising on authenticity? And you realize that the people who come up on social media platforms and are all of a sudden they're like the biggest thing. And in 3 months, nobody hears of them again. We have 1 week celebrities in our country. I can give you some of them. And because they get visibility either for the wrong reasons or accidental visibility. That visibility is not authentic. How many of you remember Rashida Black Beauty? Aha. There was a period where Charlie, she was all over the place. Oh, yeah. Again, her visibility was out of a wrong reason. And it was not authentic to who she was. There was no value to that visibility. So that visibility disappeared. But there are people who have remained visible. I'll give you a typical example of another woman who was on television before literally every one of you in this room was born. Because I can look at the average age in this room and I think it's around early 20s, can be more than 25. As the average age, or even less. But how many of you know who the Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture is? Jifa Abla Gomashi. Charlie, you guys are like babies, man. I think I'll just drop the average age to 18. No, but the point I'm making here is this. For anybody my generation, anybody in their 40s or 50s, remember Madam Jifa Komashi, because she used to run programs on GTV at the time that as kids we watched. Okay? That was the time when TV stations started working at 4 p.m. and closed at 9 p.m. If you put on your TV at 11 or 12, all you see is shh. And then from 3:30, you'll see multicolored lights, which means that very soon they will start. Then 1 minute to 4, you start hearing the countdown. Kum, 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 kum. And at that time, everybody's sitting down because you're waiting for 4 o'clock for TV stations to start working. You know, and about 9, 10 o'clock after the news, they close. But she was a big figure on TV. Today, 25, 30 years on, she's Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts, and Culture, which means she built a brand over 30 years ago that's so relevant today that she's a cabinet minister for that sector. So it's in building a brand that is authentic. And now to use myself as an example, in 2015, and just today, I saw someone tagged me in a post from 10 years ago. A gentleman who's a very good friend of mine and works at one of the agencies in the ministry, Tanko Osmano. He just tagged me in a picture he posted on Facebook exactly 10 years today. It was a picture of me at a campaign ground. Because 10 years ago, around this time, I was launching my first ever national campaign. I was on my first national campaign to be the parliamentary candidate, to be the nominee and parliamentary candidate of the NDC in my constituency. I was going up against someone who I had learnt about. I was contesting somebody who I had learnt about in social studies when I was in GHS. He was already a big political, in fact, he was a big political figure before I was born. And we learnt about him in JHS, and then now I was contesting that person, the late Honorable E.T. Mensah. And Tanko was one of the young men who worked with me on that campaign. And it's almost 10 years to the date of that election. But an identity was built in that campaign that has become an identity that is known today. That's what you asked me, Jatta. My name is not Jatta. My name is Samuel Nartey George. Most people have never heard the Nartey. As for the Kwamblan, I can bet hardly any of you know I was a Tuesday born. But today, most people know me as Jatta or Sam Jatta George. Because when I started my campaign, I realized that I was going up against a much older person. The age gap between us, 42 years at the time. He was 42 years older than me. And it was almost impossible to speak to most of the delegates who were older because it was just this small boy and his group of young boys running all over the place, coming, you wait for the old man to bless you before you come, then you say you are coming to contest him. We had a lot of energy, and that energy spoke, it's authentically who I am. I can't, no matter how, I go to places and I try to pretend, and before I know it, the Jatta will come out. So the energy is my identity. It's my authenticity. But because of how politics is, it was painted as arrogance. It was painted as being disrespectful. And so the older people didn't want to see us. We couldn't, when we called them to meetings to campaign, they wouldn't come. And so I decided to build a brand. At that time, my name on Facebook was Samuel Nartey George. And so I decided I needed to build a brand that will be recognized and that will be associated with me. But in building that brand, and that's something you must always do, you must do a SWOT analysis of yourselves. You know what a SWOT analysis is: a strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. I saw what my weakness was. My weakness was my energy, my candid nature. It was my weakness. The fact that I'll look you in the face and tell you the truth without sugarcoating it. The fact that I wasn't afraid to tell you what I thought about you. Because I think that it's only when you care deeply about someone you tell them the truth in a very honest manner. But that was being painted as a weakness. So how did I get people to embrace my weakness and turn it into a strength? I decided to give myself a nickname. Because identities, nicknames, they stick in people's heads. And when they stick, that brand, it defines in their minds what they expect to see. And so I decided that I wanted to, if you looked at my energy, the fight and all of that, it was like the lion. So I wanted to be called the lion. But next door to Ningo Pram Pram Katamanso was an MP called Lion, Afote Agbo. He's now the regent of Pon, Katamanso. He was called Lion. So how do I also call myself Lion when there's already someone called Lion? Brand conflict. But then, how do you call Lion in most of our local languages? Jata. There was nobody called Jata. So, okay. So I went on Facebook, changed my name on Facebook to Sam Jata George. This was 2015. Then called my campaign team, Team Jata. My campaign vehicle, I put a lion's face, big, as the logo on it. And now we did t-shirts, Team Jata with a lion on it. Lion on the back, my face on the front. And then we hit the road again. And then say, hey, now who are these Team Jata? Oh, Charlie, these young boys, they have energy. Then say, hey, if you go where Jata be, when he grows, it will chew you. Then I said, no. If you have a lion, if you have a dog guarding your house, you know people are afraid of coming to your house when you have wild dogs. Then imagine if you have a lion. So vote for me, and you will have a lion who is going to Accra and go and fight with all the other MPs to bring development home. All of a sudden, people changed the perception of our energy, and our energy now became our identity. So we built a brand. And it survived 10 years and is ongoing simply because it is authentic. So don't sacrifice authenticity for visibility. Because when you do that, your visibility won't last. I keep saying, who you know will get you through the door. What you know will keep the door opened. So if Kojo tells me now that he's an AI developer, meanwhile he doesn't know how to write a single line of code, and his father is my friend, and I find a job as an AI developer for him because of who his father is, he's gotten the job. Then we give him an assignment to do the code. If he doesn't know how to code, how's he going to code? Authenticity should define the visibility. So if your visibility is authentic, if it's based on who you are and what you represent, it'll survive. But don't sacrifice visibility for authenticity, because eventually something that you sell, what you really are is what people will celebrate. I'll give you one last example. Kobe Che. How many of you know Kobe Che? Kobe Che is a blogger as well. He's an influencer, and just last week was Mental Health Day. My foundation that I own, the Jata Foundation, we picked Kobe Che to be a resource person on mental health. You know why? Kobe Che does not blog about people's sex videos. He doesn't blog about what is trending. He picks deep societal issues and speaks to them. So that's what he's become noted for. So when we wanted an influencer as a foundation to be a resource person, there are a lot of them who post all kinds of things and have plenty followers. But they didn't qualify to be resource persons to talk about mental health. We went for Kobiche because we know what his brand is. So building a certain brand is very important. I'm not saying that those who post about other things are not good, or please, before they put me on blast on social media. Kojo, the point you made about outsourcing, and I'll try and take this very quickly. The point you make about outsourcing a lot of our innovation is real. But that's because a lot of AI today is driven by the West. But that's what the Ministry of Communication is trying to do today, to bridge that gap and say that, look, African problems are going to be solved by African innovators. So African solutions cannot be out of Silicon Valley. African solutions have to come out of Accra, Nairobi, Lagos, and Cape Town. And that's what we at the Ministry of Communication are trying to do, working very closely to create an enabling environment for young innovators like you to work. But for you to work in AI today, there are literally 3 key things that are needed. The fact that you have a passion and innovation, then you need data, because AI is simply fed by data, and you need compute infrastructure. And so at the ministry, we can't give you innovative ideas. But what we can do is build the data sets for you, so that if you need to build a solution for farmers, you can come to the ministry and we can give you access to farming data that you don't have to now go and walk in all the farming communities to gather that data yourself, because you can come to a central data repository and get it. And that's one of the new legislations that I'm working on as minister, the Data Harmonization Act, which will allow us to aggregate all the data sets in the country into a data exchange hub. So that young innovators like you can apply to use the data that we are generating, and then you can use that to teach your model, because your AI model is only as good as the amount of data set that you feed into it. But then when you do that as well, you also need to have the compute infrastructure, because AI solutions run on heavy compute infrastructure. And so as we're speaking today, President Mahama has just returned from China. When he was going to China, I went to him and said, Mr. President, there's just one thing I need you to beg for when you go to China, as you ask for all the other things. We want an AI sovereign cloud here in Ghana. And whilst he's doing that, I'm off to Geneva next week. I'm meeting with a group called CERN. We're trying to get them to donate a supercomputer to Ghana, so that we can then have some compute infrastructure here that will sit in one of our academic universities and be used to drive innovation. Because today, if you have to buy compute infrastructure, you need like $200,000 a month to be able to do that. But if by bringing in that compute infrastructure into the country, that cost drops to $2,000 a month, you can then begin to create solutions like the guy in Silicon Valley. Government must create an enabling environment for young innovators to grow, and that's what we're trying to do. So the ministry is focused on that, and I'm confident that by the time we finish the 4 years of President Mahama, we'll have built a clear ecosystem and a framework that allows Ghanaian innovators to be able to take the lead with providing solutions for Africa. And if you keep listening to me, I'm not saying providing solutions for Ghana, providing solutions for Africa, because I believe that Ghana must be at the forefront of the AI revolution. We must create the solutions for all of Africa, because if you're and again, what you talk about is very passionate. I'm very passionate about it, and the president is very passionate. The president is a farmer, and so he's very passionate about agri-tech, because what affects a maize farmer in Ota, in Nigeria, is the same weather system that affects a maize farmer in Damongo. What affects a cocoa farmer in Zimaland is the same thing that affects a cocoa farmer in Ivory Coast. Same weather systems, same soil type. So if we develop a solution here in Accra, the farmer in Nigeria can use it, the farmer in Ivory Coast can use it. And we can build synergies together. So that's where we're going with building African solutions right out of Accra. And I'm sure that you'll be happy about the work we're doing when you get to explore some of the things that are in the pipeline. The last thing is balancing firmness with humility. Mami Efia. And that's a big challenge, I must be honest. I mean, it's one of the biggest challenges you have, especially when people are used to being pampered with the truth. People feel that it's wrong to look people in the face and tell them the truth. You know, I mean, we are a country where, you know, we say, Patrol Yabwa. I mean, if you ever say, "Hey, cry, best Patrol Yabwa." And so when you look someone in the face and tell them, stop being stupid, people find it very offensive. But really, is it insulting? If you're acting stupid and they say, stop being stupid, the person hasn't said anything different because you're being stupid. If what you're saying doesn't make sense, and they tell you that, look, what you're doing is silly, or what you're saying is silly, people are very sensitive to those things. People would rather that you said, oh, brah, you know, this thing that you are doing, Charlie, it'll be your bad, you know, if like you go feed. I mean, but that's the reason why Ghanaians are seen as very docile, and that's the reason why many people come into this country and bully Ghanaians and take advantage of us. And so it's a difficult thing to be firm without being immediately accused of being arrogant. People confuse that. And I mean, you just have to come to a place where you say that, look, this is how I tell my truth. I'm not going to dim my light to make you comfortable. Okay? I think it's Maya Angelou who has a poem like that, Still I Rise, where she talks about the fact that she's going to walk with a twinkle in her eyes and not dim her light to make you feel comfortable. Because no matter your hate, still, I rise. So it's about knowing where to draw the firm line behind being firm and crossing the line into arrogance. But being able to tell people the truth. And again, I use myself as an example. I mean, everybody who criticizes Sam George, what they say, Sam George, he's arrogant. And I ask them, tell me one person I've insulted. Then they say, oh, you insulted President Akufo-Addo. And even when they asked you to apologize, you didn't apologize at your vetting. But if I believe, if I believe with evidence that he's superintendent over corruption, and I say he's a corrupt person who stole the public purse, have I insulted the person? So you see, it's about being, I think at most times, those accusations about people's sensitivities, it's not necessarily about fact. It's about what people perceive, people's sensitivities. So, I mean, and I've come to that place where I've said to myself, Sam, you can't please everybody. The people who meet me and go like, is that Sam George? No. Because they're expecting something different. And because they've heard all kinds of things. And they meet me and I'm really chill. You know, we have a simple conversation. They see me do my own grocery shopping in the marks and they're like, Sam George, you know. At times I'm pushing the cart and I hear them, hey, you're not, na Sam George, and then when I hear those conversations, I go around, then I'll come back and come and pass in front of them again, you know, because I'm enjoying the gossip. And after going around like 2 times, I'm like, hi. And then like, hi. And they're like, you look familiar. I'm like, I do. You know, I enjoy messing with people's heads like that. But, you know, people will form their opinions. But ultimately, be true to yourself. Be authentic. Eventually, people will come to know you for who you are. There are some people whose prejudices you may never change. It's just like the donkey and the man and his son. When the man made his son ride, and they met elderly people, they said the son was a bad son. How can you be riding on a donkey and your father is walking? Then the son got down and the father started walking. Then they met Gen Zs. Said, wicked old man, you're about to die. You want your son to also die by walking. Let him ride. Then the two of them decided that, okay, let's ride the donkey together. Then they met animal rights people. Say, oh, wicked two people. You want the two of you are riding this donkey, you want to kill it. Then they say, okay, you know what, let's carry the donkey. So the father and the man carried the donkey. Then they saw some people say, see, look at these fools. Instead of them riding the donkey, they are carrying it. So no matter what you do, you can't please everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Charlie,
the clapping alone is an indication.
This clapping makes it look like I can pass a PhD. Because 4 PhD questions per...
The answers were as equally good as the questions. So the next round of questions quickly. I'll just take 4 because of time.
Yeah, and I'll try and keep my answers short.
Yes. So, all right, these answers are more than 4.
Okay, let's try and take them. Just go straight to the...
Okay, sure.
I'll try and take everything.
Okay, so let me start from the back this time round.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you. But please, make sure you're not repeating a question someone has asked already.
Never, ever. Happy to see you in person and knowing that your digital self and physical self are the same. My question is, doing all that you do, the good that you do, yes. Eric. Yes. How are you able to do your trust projections, knowing that you are doing good for the people, and then other people are also putting some negative spin on it? At the end of it, as a politician, you are hoping that it translates to development and also to votes. How are you confident that the people are getting the truth out of what you are saying, and for that matter, continue to do what you do? Thank you.
All right, so I'm Aaron, and I wanted to, Aaron. Yeah, and I wanted to ask, the telecommunication companies like MTN and Telecom, how is their work affected by the ministry? And then you see there are telecommunication engineering companies like the operating contractors. I wanted to ask, does the ministry give out contracts to these engineering companies? Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, please, my name is Elliot. That's the question. Okay.
Okay, your name is?
Elliot.
Elliot.
Yeah. So my question is, what systems do you take in place to lead people around you? And how do you get people to do the things that must be done? And you know that sometimes people can be quite difficult.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. So my name is Doreen, and I'm building a cybersecurity startup to solve file sharing, security issues. And my question is, you started your journey at a very young age, and how were you able to filter advice? So how were you able to recognize the advice people give you and to differentiate between advice and then people trying to project their experiences upon you?
Okay, yes. Any other? All right.
All right, so my name is
Kojuba. I'm also an entrepreneur. And with one of my startups, I currently work with... Your name is? Kojuba. Yeah. So with one of my startups, we build digital solutions for businesses, right? And we are mostly focused on small and medium-sized businesses. But sometimes in our communication with them, we realize they are quite ignorant about the various innovations that we are pulling out. So my question is, with your ministry, how are you approaching, or do you have any intentional efforts into educating the populace about the various innovations that are happening inside of the world, and to how you're exploring private-government partnerships in building solutions in the country?
Okay. I promise to be very quick with my answers this time. Eric, how do I know my actions are right despite the criticisms that they bring? I'll give you a typical example. And today, someone did a post. Someone did a post. I shared the post. So I just want to read the person's comment. And here, no politics, please. I mean, it may have a bit of a political slant, but no politics, really. Why are you laughing or coughing? Okay. So the person said, it's by a lady called Grace Afram. She says, so are the MPP members paying the old DSTV prices, or they are also enjoying some Nartey George's new price? And then I shared the post with a laughing emoji and said, deliverance ministry mode activated. You heard all the noise that happened 2-3 weeks ago about DSTV. Simple information. But some people decided they would choose Sam George. But what they don't know is that this skin is hard. It's too tough for their teeth. And I kept saying to people that you can hate the messenger, but be objective with the message. And I kept saying that, look, some of the people who were screaming and shouting and trolling, especially on X. I mean, I have some time when I'm unable to sleep at 2-3 a.m. If I'm not thinking, I'm scrolling through X. And I go and see the person has insulted me. Fine one. Then I click on the profile and go and look at the person's media images. I see that this person doesn't even have a smart TV at home. Oh, serious. The person, he watches Premier League at a viewing center. Because on this smart TV, I obenya Digibox. And sana obenya multi TV. To even have a gold TV before he can have DSTV. So the thing I've done, no, he can't understand it. Because, you see, if you were a DSTV subscriber and you were paying compact before, 380 Ghana cedis, and now I'm saying to you that if you still pay the 380 cedis, you'll be upgraded to Compact Plus to get to watch what is the value of 570 Ghana cedis. Or if you still want to watch your 380 Ghana cedis value content, you can pay family, which was what, 190 Ghana, and save 190 cedis and still watch your same value. And you say you don't understand. The only way you can understand is when your subscription is up and you either pay less to test my principle, to see that instead you used to pay 380, so now you go and pay 190. Do you still get the same thing? If you get the same thing, then you realize that Medina Temkwa, because I used to pay 380 to watch these channels, and now I'm paying 190 and still watching the same channels. Or you pay the same 380 and then you are upgraded to watch something more than you were watching. So you realize that I've saved you money. if you choose to downgrade yourself. So, but if you don't have a subscription, because where the matter? Because you don't understand and you haven't experienced what has happened. And some say, oh, don't mind him, it's a promo. Show me any time DSTV has done a promo where they've said, downgrade yourself and get something in addition. Their promos have always been upgrade and they will give you more. They've never allowed for you to downgrade to get more. Never. But let's even assume it's a promo. Are they doing that in every country? If your minister is going to ask and fight for that for you, but you see, because I was clear in my mind what I was doing and what the value would be for the Ghanaian people, really, I don't care what the criticism is. I'll do what is right, because don't forget, it's leadership that is driven by ethics. That's the compass. And so in making and embarking on that journey, the leadership put me on that journey. The responsibility of the office was my anchor. But my ethics were my direction that, look, whatever happens, Ghanaians must pay less, because I think Ghanaians have been robbed for too long. So once I'm convinced that my ethics are right, I don't care what anybody will say. Aaron, the MNOs are regulated by the ministry, not directly. That's the telecom companies. We call them MNOs, mobile network operators. They are regulated through the regulator called the National Communications Authority. So the ministry gives policy direction, and the NCA will enforce the policy direction. Okay? So, again, data prices. For people who do a lot of heavy work and heavy data, I said, look, they used to pay 399 cedis and get 214 Ghana cedis. The previous government said, no, they introduced something called SMP, so reduce the 214 and give them only 92 gig on MTN. Policy decision. The NCA made MTN do that. So then, new policy decision. Give me back my 214 gig. Give it to Ghanaians at the same price. Policy decision. Who enforces it? The NCA. So the NCA then met with all of them and said, the minister has directed that this policy on big data bundles be done. And so then they have to. So the ministry doesn't necessarily, take for example, the ministry is currently, to deal with quality of service and quality of experience, I'm trying to look at how we can get the MNOs to do what we call cell site infilling by having small microgrid sites to fill up the spaces where there's deep and quality of service. So when I finish drafting the policy and put it out, it's the NCA that's going to mandate them and say, over the next 6 months or 12 months, you must all comply with this number of cell sites. You understand it? And when they fail to, then the NCA will fine them or exact some punitive measure. Do we give contracts, telecoms? No. The ministry doesn't run a telecom contracting service, so we really don't do those things. It's largely privatized, that sector. Elliot asked about systems to lead. Elliot, I like your question. You asked about how it is, how do I lead my team, the people around me, knowing that people are difficult. Yeah. You see the guy up there in the black and white behind the camera? You see he's laughing. He's been with me since 2015. No, in fact, before 2015, since like 2013. He's been with me like 12 years. And he'll tell you that one of the easiest ways I used to manage the people I lead is to shout. I'll shout on you right now. Because like you said, people are difficult. Because he's been with me for 13 years plus, he knows how I like my things done. But because he's a human being, some days he will just do it in a different manner. And so I'll shout. But after I shout, and I keep saying that I'm not going to get angry with you. You see, some people get angry and they don't talk about it. So they are smiling with you, but their face is smiling, but some other part of their body has frowned. You don't know what is in their head. Me, it's a lie. If I'm not happy with you, I'll see you now, I'll tell you I'm not happy with you. Because me fat paracetamol for obi headache. So I will tell you my peace of mind, and that's what works for me. I'm not saying that must work for everybody. When I'm upset about something, I tell you to your face straight, I don't like this that you did. This is not how I like this done. Next time, don't do it. And once I've set you straight, we're done. The next moment, I put my hands on your shoulder and we're walking like nothing happened. Because I won't get offended about it. I'll tell you, and I always say to my team as well, that when you're not happy about something, the same way I expect you to be able to walk up to me and say, Chief, this thing, some will. So it's about, and I like the fact that you said it's a team. A team is only as efficient as the weakest link in that team. And so today I work with quite a big team, both at the ministry and in my constituency. So I've got on my team or people who are responsible for security, somebody who is responsible for our movement, somebody who is responsible for scheduling appointments, someone who's responsible for constituency engagement. It's a big team. Because I alone, I can't do it all. But you realize that if the person responsible for scheduling appointments forgot to schedule my engagement here today, my team responsible for movement and security and media and all of that may have gotten, maybe I'd have said to them today, we'll go somewhere. Or they are perfect. They're doing their job. The vehicle is ready to move. Security is ready to do its thing. Media is ready to move. But because the schedule for the day is shared with the whole team, they don't know that Sam is supposed to be at Academic City at a particular time of the day. So because one person on the team has slacked, what happens? It affects every other person on the team. So the team is only as strong as the weakest link. And so we try to support each other and keep each other going. But I mean, managing human beings is the most difficult thing. Trust me, it's easier to manage cows than human beings. Oh yeah, I'm serious. Look, if cows know where they eat or where they drink water and they know the time, when you raise the stick, they all move in that direction. Human being, raise the stick. He's going to come and his eyes like this and come and look at the stick. So, I mean, managing human beings is one of the most difficult things. So, as you grow and grow into leaders, man management is a critical part of what you have to learn. It's a very critical part of what you need to learn. Doreen, how do you filter advice from people's projections? People will project their failings on you. When I said I was going to contest, the late Honorable E.T. Mensah, people projected their experiences on me. Say, hey, you, small boy, big man. Oh, boomer. You know? Because people had seen other big people go up against him and had been flawed. I mean, the belief was that even if he put his Batakari to contest, the Batakari would have defeated anybody. That's how big a personality he was. Okay? But I didn't let that define what I was about. Because in going in there, I didn't go there based on what other people had done. I went there with my own strategy. I sat back and looked at what other people had done, how they had done it, and why they failed. I tried to understand what he represented and how he achieved his success. And I tell people that one of the biggest learning blocks for me, or one of the biggest books I've ever read, was Honorable E.T. Mensah. Because I needed to you can't beat somebody at his game if you don't understand his game. So you need to understand your challenge. And it's not just in politics, in anything you're doing. Competition in business. You need to understand your competition to be able to devise a plan to overcome that competition. But if you don't understand how the competition is doing what they're doing, you can never beat them at it. Okay? So your competition is actually not an obstacle. It's a stepping stone. Only if you're able to understand how to make it a stepping stone. If you don't understand how to make it a stepping stone, it will be an obstacle and it will stop you. I'm trying to run through because of time. Kojoba, digital literacy. Charlie, you're better off. Because look, just with mobile money, imagine how many adverts we have done to simply say to people that don't give your PIN to anybody. Because no matter how good the hacker is, if you don't give your 4-digit PIN, they can't get access to your wallet. Nanso, kwabrane, you be free. Now catch and say you're free MTN. And Kwabrani believes that MTN now calls people in Chi. And they will send Kwabrani a message. And Kwabrani will not see that they have spelled money wrongly. Money is spelled M-O-N-Y-E. But Kwabrani will believe that MTN for a year mistake. And he will enter his PIN. And they will steal his money. That Gen Zs like you will not hear, after how many times we've said that no MP or minister will leave all the things he has to do in a day, come on Facebook, come into your inbox, look for you, come into your inbox and ask you, how are you? And when you answer, say, how can I help you? And then you say, I want a job. Then you say, oh, I will give you a job. Talk to this person. He's my protocol officer. And he will help you. Then you say, thank you, Honorable. Then the protocol officer, you will call the protocol officer. The protocol officer will say, oh, Honorable say I should give you the appointment. We'll do it for you. But we just need to buy some protocol pin. It's 1,500. Then you go and borrow money. And send 1,500 to them. Have I finished giving all the people in Ingo Pram Pram job? Before I'll come and look for you on Facebook. Where do I know you from? Even God. God doesn't come to knock on our doors and ask us, are you hungry? What is your problem? He says we should ask and he shall give. You didn't ask. Now the MPs and ministers, we are more than God. We are now coming to ask you, how can we bless you? We've done all of this digital literacy, but people will still fall for it because we are extremely trusting. So we've got a lot of work to do. You know, so the ministry continues to do its public sensitization. In fact, October, this month, is our National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So on the 1st of October, you do something in cybersecurity. With the Cybersecurity Authority, we launched the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. The president was there himself to launch it. And we're doing a lot of activations on secondary campuses, university campuses. We're going everywhere to try and tell people, but we can't reach everybody. But we'll keep trying our best to ensure that we improve public awareness and sensitization. You also asked about our management of PPPs. PPPs are largely a function of the Ministry of Finance. So even if you want to do a PPP with a ministry, it will have to go to the Ministry of Finance, and they have a PPP desk that will look at it. The ministry would have to see what the value of it is to be able to then do an assessment and say, okay, this solution, why are we doing a PPP? If you're a private investor or innovator and you have an innovation, offer your service. The country will buy it. But if it's something that the ministry does need for our governance delivery, we can go into a certain kind of partnership arrangement with you. But again, there's a financial architecture around it that it has to pass through at the Ministry of Finance. But then we're open up to any ideas and ideologies. Take, for example, the work that we're doing on LLMs. What we did is to say that, look, the academic faculties should lead in the development of our LLMs that we're building for agritech. You know, the national AI strategy, when I became minister, I decided I wanted to do a new national AI strategy. There was a budget for it. We spoke to the British High Commissioner, former British High Commissioner. When they approved the funds, I said, don't give the money to the ministry. Go and give it to the responsible AI lab at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Jerry Ponyo. So the money was given to them, and academia and innovators, Darlington Akogo, who runs Moremi AI, is the co-lead. Professor Jerry Ponyo is the lead, and the ministry has only provided policy direction. But industry and academia have written the national AI strategy. So that's how we build synergies at the ministry. I think I've done justice to all those questions. Do you want me to take one more round, or we're done?
Maybe that would depend on you because of the time.
How many more people have questions? Let me see. I think it's just 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
all right,
so
let's do that.
just the 3 of you.
Let's just do that 3, and then we wrap it up. If I don't do those 3, they'll say that I don't like them. So. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, Honorable.
Yeah, evening. What's your name?
My name is Eugene Nartey.
Eugene.
Yes. My question is in relation to a few years ago, you were trying to bring in legislation in which it was like you had to, a lot of Western powers were like against you on that legislation, even to the extent that it felt like it was threatening onto family lines and everything. How are you able to handle those kind of situations, especially like being a leader? There may be times that, fine, you are facing the fire. You'll be like, okay, I'm the one facing it. But your loved ones may also be in the face of the fire. How do you normally deal with situations like that?
Yes, I'm Kweku, and I have a question about, in your constituency, Ningo Pram Pram, how do you battle like the inconsistent flowing water and constantly changing roads? How do you prioritize which problem deserves your attention at what time?
Yes, so this is basically about the 1 million coda program. So when I watched that video, I was excited about it and couldn't wait for it to come out. But you emphasize that it's an initiative that aims to position Ghana as a solution provider, as a global solution provider, and that's exciting. However, we are competing against global markets like the Asians, the India and the whole of Asians. So my question is that, given that most of these current courses focus solely on cybersecurity, data protection, which requires years of mastery and significant infrastructure, how does this program intend to build the depth and practical environment needed to make Ghanaians global competitors?
Great, solid question. So, Eugene, who should say about boarding LGBTQ? Listen, everybody knows what that battle was about, and everybody knows what the challenges were with global pressures. I've always said that one day in my book, I'll tell the full story of the things that I went through and the threats and the things we've had to deal with. I'm not going to go into the whole LGBTQ thing, but the question you ask is critical because as a leader, sometimes the people who pay the price for your decisions are not just you, but people who are associated with you, your family members. And so, there were attacks that were targeted at my wife, my kids. They're not politicians. They're not doing anything of that sort. And it's not just about this LGBTQ issue. There are people who, there are times when people just even attack in our regular NDC MPP politics. People will attack somebody's wife or somebody's kids when those people are not politicians. I hold the view that, look, some things are out of bounds. But again, it's important that as a leader, you let your family know that And it's important that you prioritize your family and their mental health and their well-being as well. As a leader, that's a responsibility that you have. Because, and listen to me, I love Ghanaians and everything, but I would walk away from all of this if I had to choose between this and my family. You know why? The very same Ghanaians that I'm fighting for. But if I do anything for my family, they're not going to insult me, they're going to thank me. Because at your lowest, when it's all said and done, and again, I go back to my speech. Don't forget what I said. I said titles fade. The only thing that remains is your name. When this office is said and done, when I'm no longer minister, I'm no longer MP, even when my kids become family men and women of their own and have their own families, I'm always going to be their daddy. Okay? My mom and dad are alive, very elderly, and so they go to bed quite early. Sometimes at the time they're going to bed, I'm still in the office working. But some way, somehow, every evening at 7 p.m., my mom is going to call me to check up on me and ask me, have you gotten home? And I'm like, no, I'm still in the office, I'm working. She's like, it's late, get home quick. Because from when I was a young boy in her house, she always wanted me home at a certain time. And so no matter who I am, I'm still her little boy. And that's how you must always bear in mind that your family is always going to be your family, no matter how high and how big they grow. And so no matter what you do, what really matters is family. When you fall sick and you are in the hospital, there are people who give you fans on X and Snap won't come. The best they will do is send you an emoji. But those who are going to hold your hand through your most difficult moments are your family. So again, never trade family for likes or for popularity. It's very important, very, very important, because most leaders end up losing their family. They give so much to their work and so much to community and society that they lose their family. And eventually, when they reach the end of their career, they have nothing. They're very lonely. They die very lonely people. So a real leader is one who's able to balance his work and family. That's real leadership. Kweku, my constituency, roads, water, how do I prioritize? There's quite a lot of things. I mean, and look, my constituency is one of the fastest growing districts in the country. So you've got places where, in the last election, 2024, there were places we got to with the team, and I'm like, wait. Last year when we drove past here, there were no houses here. It was farmland, but now it's become an estate. So you go and buy land from some family. You didn't buy the land from some George. They sold the land to you as service plot. What it means is that when you say you're selling a service plot, it means that there's light, there's water, there's roads. That's what the service plot is about. But you went and bought the land as service plot without light, water, or roads. You paid the money to some Ebusiampenyi. He's going to marry a new wife with the money. He didn't give me some. Then after you build your house, then he says, Sam George, come and fix my road. Come and give me water. But I keep saying that, mind you, MPs, and again, I don't blame the public, I blame MPs. Because MPs go and promise those things. But I've always been very clear. You can go on social media and check my history. I've always said it. Any MP who comes and stands and promises, vote for me, I'll build the road, a person is a liar. A person is not fit to be voted for. It's a dishonest person. Because roads and water and hospitals and schools, the budget for that is not given to an MP. You have a minister for roads who gets the budget for roads. So how do you promise something that you have no control of? You are a student. Your father still gives you chop money. And you are promising your girlfriend you will buy her a Benz. The fact that your father has the money to buy a Benz does not mean that you have the money to buy a Benz. I hope you get the point I'm making. Because yes, you may be an MP in the same parliament with the minister for roads, but you don't determine to him what he does. As an MP, your role is to go and lobby for it and push for it. So take, for example, in my constituency, the president launched the Big Push agenda, $13 billion, 13 billion cedis and for this year. And they're doing 32 roads in the whole country. In my constituency alone, there are 4 of those roads. Okay? There's the Dowenya-Afenya Road, Afenya to Dodowa, and then there's the Apollonia to Afenya, and then, so Afenya all the way through, Dowenya all the way through Afenya to Dodowa, Apollonia to Afenya, then Ashaman to Asikuma, and then from Tema, from Konbaria all the way to Central University. Those are 4 roads, 4 major roads. I have not gone to post and say that I'm fixing the road, because I'm not the one fixing the road. It's the Minister for Roads. Yes, I went to lobby for it. So when I'm going to take my fans, I'll say, Charlie, you see, me, I know how to yob. I went and yob them. And out of the whole country, everybody's getting, some are not even getting some, me alone, I go 4. It's my yobbing skills. But it doesn't mean that I'm the one doing the road. So yes, we have issues of water. We've spoken to the Ghana Water Company. They're looking at how to, because again, you see, it's about population growth. At the time, there are places where we have water lines in there. But at the time the water lines were laid, in that community, you just had about 600 people. Now, new houses have come up. So now you have 3,000 people living there where the facilities to serve 600 people. What happens? The pressure is no longer enough to get to everybody's house. So it now means that Ghana Water has to invest to expand the infrastructure. The MP is not responsible for that. But his job is to draw the attention of the relevant authorities. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing that in roads, we're doing that in education, in healthcare, and in water. And we try to do everything at the same time. Because you can't say that, oh, I'm going to fix the roads and leave the water. Because if the person drives on a nice road home, but doesn't have water to bath, he will still insult you. Last one, this month, 1 million coders. So listen, the 1 million coders is a change in national ideology. I keep saying that it is to skill, reskill, and upskill. So it's to give people who have absolutely no IT background some level of skill. Those who are already doing some kind of work in certain areas of ICT to reskill them and to give some people who already have some level of knowledge a higher level of knowledge. So yes, we're looking at doing multiple models. And the models you're talking about in cybersecurity, data forensics, and stuff are literally what we did in the pilot. We're going to launch out fully end of this year, early next year. It's going to be in over 10 different disciplines. Now, the whole idea is this. Learning is a lifelong process, okay? So, and I hope that's something that you must take away from here. You can't stop learning, okay? You can't stop learning. Every stage of my life, I do a new course. So, when I finished the university, and then I started working, when I started working as a presidential staffer in President Mahama's first term communication specialist, I went and did an LLB in addition to my engineering degree whilst I was a presidential staffer. Then when I came to Parliament in my first term, I was in opposition. Whilst in Parliament, I went and did a master's at Kofi Annan. In my second term, I did another master's at LSE. Now in my third term, I then remember that, I finished my LLB 11 years ago, but I haven't gone to Makola to be called to the bar. So just 2 days ago, I went for my interview. I'm going to go and do that one too. I'm constantly learning and adding value to myself. With all of the things I have to do, I find time to learn. You have no excuse not to add value to yourself. The day you stop learning, you start dying. And so you must realize that what the 1 million coders is the opportunity for you. What, you guys, you feel my bars, eh? What the 1 million coders program is to bring you into a certain area that spikes your interest in building a new career. Because listen, people talk about artificial intelligence taking jobs. Artificial intelligence is creating jobs. I'll give you a typical example, and I'll end with that. The transition from typewriters to computers. We were told computers was going to take people's jobs. Because they said, if the computer comes right now, you won't need many stenographers. Everybody has a PC, so you don't need a secretary and all of that. So those who were stenographers, who didn't learn digital skills, and we did that with Mavis Beacon. how to type and all of that, they lost their jobs. But listen, those who reskilled themselves moved from their... How many of you know what a real typewriter is? You're sure? You type ke, then you pull it. The pulling is the enter. Then it goes down one step. Good. But let me show you how computers created more jobs than people lost their jobs. The only people who lost their jobs were those who were typing. But when computers came in, computers created jobs like software developers. You didn't have software developers with typewriters. Did you get it? You had graphic designers. There were no graphic designers with typewriters. You had all kinds of new skills that were needed because of the new vista of opportunities that computers opened up. So people ran OTTs on top of the main system, the main operating system. Several jobs were created. You understand me? So some may have lost their jobs, but a lot more jobs were created. And that's what's going to happen with AI. So some jobs will become redundant, but there are a lot of new jobs that are being opened up. And that's what the 1 million coders is supposed to do, is to usher people into that level. So you may do a beginner level course on the OMCP, get your certification, and then what that does is, because it's started you on a new journey, you will then move on to do the intermediate. And we are going to be offering both beginner, intermediate, and advanced level programs on the OMCP. So take, for example, the agreement we have with Google. So Google may be running a data analytics or data forensics course. And we will have people, and there may be someone who's done some level of data forensics. And so that person doesn't need to go and do a beginner level data forensics program on the OMCP. What he needs to do is an intermediate or an advanced level. Or you start even with the data forensics as a beginner, whilst in AcademicCity, you complete and get a Google certificate. You liked it so much, you enroll again to do an intermediate level and do an advanced level on the program. So it opens a new pathway of learning for people. And so that's how you must see that this is us moving people into readiness for the world of artificial intelligence. I don't know if it makes sense to you what we're trying to do with the OMCP. And so there are multiple layers of depth in the question, in the offerings that are going to be there. And there are multiple disciplines. So that's why you see I've signed an MOU with Google for 100,000. I've signed an MOU with Huawei for 100,000. I've signed an MOU with MTN. I've signed an MOU with Telecel for 100,000. We're talking to Amazon Web Services. We're talking to Cisco. Do you realize that all of these big tech companies that we're signing with deal with different levels of technology and the AI field? So the kind of AI programs you may run with Google will be completely different from what Cisco runs. And if you're doing a program with Amazon, one of the key things, AWS, one of the key things you'll be doing will be maybe training to become a cloud analyst, because that's what they are known for, you know. Or you're dealing with Cisco and you are learning database management, or you're learning cybersecurity for database management. So there are multiple disciplines that will be opened up to people when we roll out. And then you see the full offering of what we have under the 1 Million Coders program. At this juncture, I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure we all learn a thing or two. And honestly speaking, the Honorable Sam Nartey George is who he says he is. Let's put our hands together once again for him. Honorable Minister, on behalf of the President of the University, on behalf of the Executive Management, we want to say thank you so much for coming. We are very grateful that you indeed impacted some knowledge. And you've given us what we need, I'm sure, for the weekend and the years ahead. We are grateful, and we know that the next time we call on you, you would come. We don't want to let you go empty-handed. The university has put together a little souvenir that we'll present to you on behalf of the school. Thank you very much.
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, my daughter thrives at ACity gives me peace of mind.
ACity didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.